Hi, I'm Kim Polchow, pastor of Bodark United Methodist Church. A friend said to me a few years ago that if there's ever some sort of apocalyptic event in the United States, they're really glad that they know my family because that's where they'd go, because we got the survival skills. My mom can make anything out of plants. I mean, she can make you dinner out of banana peels. She can sew, I can sew, we can knit, we can dye a fabric. My dad builds boats. We got the mad survival skills. It's been sort of survival around here the last week. It's been a rough week, and last week was rougher. When I found out that people I loved needed masks and I wasn't making masks, I started gathering materials to make masks, only to find out that a lot of the supplies are gone. They're hard to find now. And so I spent the beginning of the week gathering things and ironing fabric and getting stuff ready and researching patterns and finding out what I wanted to do. And then in the middle of the week, I finally sat down and was able to sew. When I threw the 5th prototype against the wall, it's about 10:45 one night. I burst into tears and I said, I want my mom. My mom's the best seamstress I know. She was a professional seamstress when I was a kid, and I used to fall asleep at night to the sound of my mom's sewing machine running in the next room. It's a skill she taught me, and I could not make these masks work. I couldn't make the needle go through all the layers of fabric, and I could change the needle several times and check every setting on my machine, and I still just couldn't get a mask out. And so that night at 10:45, when I was crying, I texted my mom, and she was up, or she got up, and we FaceTimed. And when I poured out this whole story about how I just couldn't make these masks, my mom said, you need a new machine. Like, you need a new sewing machine. You need a heavy-duty sewing machine. You use your little cheap machines too hard. So I went online and I ordered a new machine that I was able to pick up the next day. And that machine just rips through those masks really nicely, and I'm finally able to produce some. I've been able to get some out to folks, although not to all the folks that I want to get them out to yet. So I sit down this weekend and I'm sewing these masks up, and Jay wants to be in the room with me, and he's looking at my iPad, and he says to me, Mommy, you're too loud. You're too loud. And he covers his ears, and I said, buddy, this is the sound of my childhood. And in that sound was resurrection. And that sound of a manual heavy-duty machine cranking through layers of fabric. My mom was with us in the room. It took me back to my childhood. It felt like she was here, and she was me, and I was her. And there was this beautiful cosmic connection between me and my mom and my child and her mom, who taught her to sew. It was this beautiful moment. And I realized in that moment that resurrection, we always talk about butterflies, and we always talk about new life and eggs cracking open. But people weren't excited at Easter because Jesus was born on Easter. They were excited on Easter because someone they loved that they'd been missing had suddenly come back to them, right? Resurrection is something we were missing coming back to life. And the sound of the sewing machine gives me that. It gave me hope, and it made me realize that there are a lot of things we used to do that we haven't done that are now coming back. I mean, I've cooked stuff I have not cooked since I was 18. I've eaten stuff I haven't eaten since I was 10. What was there is now back. And that's what resurrection is. So that was my Easter message, which we did not record on Sunday morning, that I'm sharing with you now. And the idea is that as you go through the week and you find yourself doing things you haven't done in a long time, that you see resurrection in that you see new life in that, and that you celebrate those moments. The rest of this inspiration story about my family and their post-apocalyptic event skills is addressing whether we're at an apocalyptic event. And I'll talk about that on Friday, because that's a little bit tougher nut to crack. I hope that you have had a great Easter, and that you will continue to find things that you missed and maybe didn't even know you missed coming back to you and reminding you that He is risen and we are going to be okay. Amen.